So let's start working on the state for actually ordering a burger. Right now, if we have a look at our containers, we handle that inside our contact data container. There we have the order handler method, which is essentially executed when we submit this form we create in this container here. And in this order handler, we send a HTTP request. We set the state to loading initially to show a spinner, then we set it to false once we're done, and then we navigate away. We can do all of that in that container. This is not per se wrong or anything like that. But we can also outsource it to action creators and Redux. And as so often, this is a choice that's left up to you. But since you, in theory, could have an application where you also want to be able to submit this request from other pages too, maybe putting it into a central place, like the Redux world is a good idea. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to move that submit logic out of this contact data container into an action creator. Speaking of that, for these changes, I want to adjust my structure here in the store folder. I'll create an actions subfolder and I'll create a reducers subfolder. And I'll move my actions.js file into the actions folder and the reducer.js file into the reducers folder. And this of course will break the app for now since our import paths will be off. I'll also rename the actions file to action types because I want to have a setup shown as at the end of last module. I want to have an action types file where I simply export these identifiers, and then I'll create separate files for my different action creators. That's actually the first thing I'll do here. I'll add an order.js file here, which should hold the action creators for submitting an order. I also want to create a new reducer file. I'll name it order.js2, and I'll rename the first reducer to burger builder since it holds code relevant to building the burger only. Not just to the ingredients, but in theory to the whole building process if we were to add more functionalities to it. Again, with that, our application will of course be broken. I'll also add another file to the actions folder, the burger builder.js file, where I want to create the action creators for building a burger. And there I'll only have synchronous action creators for adding and removing ingredients, but still I want to keep that action creator pattern throughout my application here, even though for synchronous action creators, it's not really necessary, but it is a consistent approach I'm taking here. So with that, let's start working on all these action creators before we then start implementing the store handling for orders.